Here's how to balance your strength training, mobility, and cardio. I'm Jacob, and I'm the owner of Primal Barbell, a strength training gym in Chicago, Illinois. And if you're wondering how to juggle and balance your strength training, mobility, and cardio, you're in the right place. Mobility is something that improves your quality of life and your mental well-being. I was recently talking with one of my clients, and she told me a story about going to her daughter's basketball game with her parents. So grandma and grandpa are at the game, and they always sit in the front row. And one day she asked them, hey, why do we always sit in the front row? Why don't we go up a little bit higher so we can get a better view of the game? And her mom looked at her like she was crazy, and she said, are you nuts? We can't go up there. There's no handrail. And it really hit her. It hadn't occurred to her before that they actually didn't want to go higher because they felt physically limited not to be able to do that. That's an example of how reduced mobility can impact not only your quality of life, but your mental well-being as well. It never feels good to feel limited physically. So mobility is defined as the ability to be mobile or move around freely. And the way that we achieve better mobility is primarily going to be through strength training. Now, many of you might think that flexibility or stretching would be the way to become more mobile. But it's important to know that if you're thinking about better performance, then just being mobile on a joint, being more flexible on a joint, doesn't bring about better performance. So flexibility training would give you some benefits, and they would be improving the range of motion of your joints and bringing maybe better blood flow to your muscles and joints. And this could be useful. This could help reduce inflammation. It could help performance by bringing better blood flow and circulation. But when it comes to actually performing, when it comes to getting up off the floor, crouching, jumping, having better balance, being more explosive, it's actually strength training that's going to do the job of getting you there versus flexibility training. So think of strength training, think of your muscle as a rubber band. Strength training is going to be like swapping out your rubber band for a heavier duty, stronger, tougher, thicker rubber band. Whereas flexibility training is going to be like taking the current rubber band that you have and just practicing stretching it out. But that's not going to do you a whole lot of good if your existing rubber band is weak to begin with. And so if you're looking for better performance, we want to upgrade your muscles, your rubber bands, because what strength training does is it increases the amount and the size of your myofibrils, which are the rod-like cells in your muscle tissue. And these are what gives that rubber band its resilience, toughness, and ability to perform. So as far as fitting strength training and mobility together, I always recommend to make strength training the priority, as strength training is going to set you up to have objective, measurable progress that reflects your muscle tissue improving its ability over time. Whereas mobility training should be based only on need. So do you have glaring needs that are affecting your strength training? Then we need to run towards mobility. But I'll say this, if you can perform a movement correctly, then it would be a waste of your time to pursue mobility, as mobility is built into the barbell movement. And your priority should be to add weight to that movement to ensure that you're going to get stronger over time, which improves your mobility. But if you went to the gym and you could already perform a squat correctly, and you spent 30 minutes working on mobility because you think it's going to make your hips better in some way, you're wasting your time, as the highest performance in your hips would come from improving your barbell squat, the weight on the bar, and improving your deadlift, for example. these would have a lot more bang for your buck than rolling around on the floor working on your mobility. So where does cardio fit in, and how do we balance cardio with these other two? Well, when you think about your health and longevity, in my opinion, inflammation is a greater threat to your health as far as getting disease and sickness and injury than not having cardio endurance. A lot of us have been conditioned or told to believe that cardio training is the best way to improve your health. But most health issues have inflammation as one of the causes. And in my opinion, we should look to our diet as the greatest source of inflammation, what we put in our body. And so eating more of a primal diet, some combination of plants and animals, and avoiding anti-nutrients and seed oils can have a huge effect, a huge impact at lowering inflammation in our body, thus lowering pain in our joints and risk of disease. Now, cardio does have health benefits. It is good for our heart and our lungs, and it's good to have some endurance. But to balance all three of these, I would recommend putting strength training in the number one spot, the top spot, only using mobility to address urgent imbalances and joints that are preventing you from having proper form on your barbell movements, and then filling in with cardio to support specific goals that you have that are more important than strength training. So for example, if you have a 5K coming up next month and you want to run a certain time, then obviously cardio needs to take some priority so that you can put yourself in a position to achieve that time. But without being a professional runner, without having a specific endurance goal that's urgent and important to you, it's best to leave strength training as the number one priority, support that with a healthy primal diet of some sort, some combination of plants and animals, and use your mobility training only as needed, because you don't need to waste resources on something that's already there. If you can already set your back properly for a deadlift, if you can already get to parallel on a squat with a straight back, there's no need, there's no urgency to address your mobility, as simply getting stronger in the long haul is going to have the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to mobility. So strength training number one, fit in cardio and mobility around that. You only have so much energy, you only have so many resources. And all three of these can compete with each other. But if you're looking to improve for the long run, if you're looking to set yourself up in the future to have a high quality of life, then strength training is the best thing that you can get better at. Now, if you need the fast track towards getting strong with a barbell, visit my website, primalbarbell.com, and book a discovery call. And until next time, stay primal.